Hey, champions, how are you doing? Welcome to Step Outside Your Comfort Zone. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us this evening. We are so excited that you are here. If you are watching live, go ahead and type where you are watching from. We are so excited to see where the listeners are coming from every week. But if you're watching by replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay so that we can keep track with you. And if you ask any questions, that we can make sure we come back and answer those questions for you. We have a great show for you today. This is Sunday is pregame, where we give you tips, tools, and techniques to have a successful week. Keep in mind that today is Sunday, so it's pregame. Monday is first quarter. Tuesday is second quarter. Wednesday is halftime. Thursday is third quarter. And Friday is fourth quarter, where we let it all out. So we're going to be coming to you live with a video every day, giving you some tips, tools, and techniques right here in the Step Outside Your Comfort Zone community. Tonight, great topic, talking about team. So my question to you, got team? Do you have a team, or are you out there trying to do it all by yourself? Let me tell you something. Doing it all by yourself is exhausting and also impossible. What are you talking about, Chris? How could you say it's impossible to do it all by yourself? Well, just name me anybody in history who has done it all by themselves. Name me one who has done it all by themselves. Even Jesus had disciples. Lone Ranger had Tonto. Peaches had Herbs. Batman had Robin. Who's done it all by themselves? Nobody. Plus, it's more fun when you do it with a team. Trust me on this. So we're going to talk about team. We're going to talk about who should be on your team, some characteristic qualities you should be looking in for people to join your team. When do you need to get people off your team? Now, I'm telling you, that's as important as getting people on your team as getting people off your team when it's not a good fit anymore. But real quick, let's give a shout out to the amazing Taylor hanging out in the chat. San Antonio is in the building. Super excited about tonight's show. So let's go ahead and dive right in and introduce our amazing panel who's going to share some great things with us. So ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge personal favor. Let's give a round of applause for our amazing panel. I'm going to have them go around the room and introduce themselves. Let us know who they are before we dive in with this exciting topic. So let's go ahead and kick it off with Carrington.
How you guys doing? Thanks for having me, Chris. My name is Carrington Warfield. I am co-owner of Virtual Visions Event Services. We provide event services virtually using the Zoom platform. So thank you.
All right, let's give her some love right there and keep it going. Introducing himself up next, none other than Mr. Need No Introduction, Tim White.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tim White. I am an HR consultant, and I am also a jewelry business owner. So looking forward to the evening. Thanks, Chris.
All right, let's give him a round of applause and keep this party going. Next up, we have Mr. Harry, the Big Dog.
What's up, everyone? This is Harry Jameson, Harry the Big Dog. And I am a live stream producer. Ooh, hit it one more time, Chris. Hit it one more time. That's right. I'm a live stream producer, and I got too many shows that we name to name, but I am co-producer of this amazing show too. Also, Clubhouse, Facebook, everybody. I got shows everywhere.
He's got shows everywhere. I love it. And welcome to our on live. She's a part of the Step Outside Your Comfort Zone family, but she's here on the other side of the camera. We are so excited that she is here. Let's give her some love as she comes forward. Maria.
Hey, Chris, thank you so much for having me. So this is Maria Turk. I wear lots of hats, but for you tonight, I am the creator of Monday Music Mantras, where we start off our week with music and a mantra that changes a gloomy Monday morning frequency to an energized station.
All right. I love it. I love it, man. And you got to follow her. I'm telling you, you got to get your mantras in on Monday, get your day, get your week kicked off right. It's absolutely amazing. So let's dive in on this exciting topic. Want to have plenty of time for all of the nuggets that's going to come out tonight. So I want to get your own personal definition of what is a team. So let's go ahead and put some things in context. We're going to kick it off with Tim. Tim, share with me, how would you define team?
Oh, easy. A team is a group of individuals that are linked by a shared vision. So that's it, plain and simple. It's a group of individuals linked by a shared vision.
I like that. I like that. I want to hear some more because I got something I want to add into this. I want to see where we go, see if we have any controversy about what makes up a team. What makes up a team? So Maria, I'm going to come to you next. Maria, how would you define team?
Well, I'll just add to what Tim said, right? Because he's right. I'll add to that this team would achieve it better, whatever that purpose is. They would achieve it better together than alone, than any individual alone, right? So come together to achieve a common purpose. And, you have a selection of skills and personalities.
Okay. I like that. I love the way you started out. You're making a great presence on the team by starting out saying Tim was right. I'm sure Tim has a vote of confidence for you already. So you're doing good. You're doing good. Keep it going. Keep it going. All right, Carrington, how would you define team?
Well, Chris, I would define team as, I'll say this. The word that comes to mind when I think of team is synergy. That would be building trust amongst each other. Working well together, having respect for each other, but also working, like as Tim and Maria also said, one common goal, or working towards one common goal.
So I got a question. Is it Tim's birthday? Because we are showing him some love. Tim is hitting it out the park on the first question. He got plenty of support. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. And I love the additions to it because the additions are necessary. Harry, how would you define team?
Team to me is a group of individuals with a set of skills that work together really well. And like Tim said, I just wanted to be added on.
Thank you, Harry.
All right.
Anytime.
That's it's really good because when I was asking this question earlier to a couple of people, some people were just saying, well, it's just a group of people working together. And it's much more than that. I believe it has all the components that everybody is sharing right now. And those that are watching live, go ahead and put your definition of team inside the chat as well. Or type if you agree or disagree, if there's something more that should be added to that definition. But I really like where Tim said a common purpose. So a common goal or a common purpose. Everybody's on board. So for me, it's about not just being on the same page, but here's what I heard some years ago. It's about being on the same page and in the same book, right? So getting a group of people synergetically to be able to move and to flow as one. It's not as easy as it seems. It can be difficult at times, right? So let me get a picture from you guys about, so we'll go with Maria on this one. So what makes a great team in your industry, in your specific, because each one of you have different industries. So what makes a team great in your specific energy, Maria?
Well, it would be having different skills, right? That collectively, the collection of the group would be smarter than any one individual, right? And not just smarter, but just skilled also. And it isn't about everybody thinking the same way. I want different thinkers. I want people who even bring in a little conflict. We can't shy away from that. That's okay. As long as there's respect. There needs to be respect.
I'm not gonna let you gloss over that. No pun intended, but pun intended. So what do you mean by conflict? Why is conflict good on a team?
Yeah, because not everybody thinks the same way, and you need someone to challenge, right, some of the thoughts. We don't need people just saying yeah. We need some who will be we hear say as a devil's advocate, right? It could be that, or it could be someone who's saying, you know what, I really don't think this will work out. How many times have we said, you know what, because that person said we can't, we're going to prove them wrong, right? We will, and we can, and we will. So sometimes it serves as a motivation, or other times it serves as a way for us to sit back a little and question our process or question something. So a little conflict, as long as it's respectful, can be a welcome thing to a team.
I like that. Demetria Coleman in the chat, and I want to hear from other people. She said, yes, it is good to have a team members who are conflict competent. My God.
I like that.
Conflict competent. Okay, Tim.
So Chris, one of the things I agree with Maria on about that,
Yay!
Patrick, let me see if I can pronounce his name correctly.
Maria said.
But Patrick Lencioni, I think is the correct pronunciation of his last name, wrote a book entitled The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, right? And one of those dysfunctions is the fear of conflict. So she's absolutely right that conflict can be a good thing for a team. And when you think about the fact that teams are made up of a diverse group of people, well, that means that inherently teams have conflict because it is a collection of people with different backgrounds, different learning styles, just a whole lot of individual difference that has come together, as I said, under this being linked under a shared vision. Well, inherently, when you bring all of those folks together, there is going to be conflict. Think about your own families. If you have siblings, right? You're all under the same roof, but think about the times where there has been conflict simply because people have different interests. They have different skills, as Carrington said, right? And so inherently, a team will have conflict. The question then becomes, well, how do you manage that? It's not a question of whether there will be conflict, because there will be conflict. Anytime you have 2 or more people together, you have diversity. And diversity inherently brings conflict.
I agree. I would add to that a little bit more, would be that if you deal with the conflicts at the onset, consider the audience that you're trying to appeal, right? Or where this purpose is going, right? They're going to be people attracted to your message or your product or whatever it is, and they'll also be diverse, right? So if we're addressing some of those conflicts early on, then it helps us then address them with our audience or the people who will benefit from our product or message.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, you guys. I think that too, we also have to think about, for those of us, who have our own businesses, we also have to think that, remember that Chris used to always say there's no I in team, right? And so although it is your company, or you still have to be open to other people challenging you, right? And other ideas from other people, because you don't know everything, right? And always be open to hearing what others have to say. You might not always welcome those opinions, but always make it comfortable, right, for your team to be able to come to you with and challenge you about things that may not be working, or opportunities for them to kind of grow and provide value in other areas too. So,
Yeah, I love that. Go ahead, Harry.
Absolutely. I mean, like Maria and like Carrington and like Tim said, I got all 3 all this time. You can actually learn off of that conflict. I mean, all of us do not think the same way. So that conflict may spark something that you didn't even think about. And then you can learn off of that, vibe off of it, either agree or disagree, or agree to disagree, and take it from there.
I love that. I remember someone said years ago, conflict creates change, right? Conflict creates change. And it doesn't have to be negative change, but sometimes you need that conflict. If you think about in your personal relationships, I like what Tim said about how when you got more than one person, you got diversity. You got diversity of thought, right? Diversity of perspectives. And even like when we were growing up, sometimes it took a good fight with somebody to have a best friend. You don't get no best
Right.
friend without a fight. You got to know what they working with. Be like, hey, if we get back to the corner, I need to know you know how to use them tools, right? You got to throw them hands, right? So conflict creates change. And I don't think there's good. Well, I want to take that back. I don't think it's good or bad change, right? Might just be necessary change, right? It's not just who you can count on, but who do you need to count out is also on the table when you're building a team. Real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Be Love Inc. in the house. My two favorite girls, Shantae and Tavia, one of them are in the building or both, I don't know, but had to give them a quick shout out. I just absolutely love and adore them. All right, team. So I want to talk about different people that we need on our team. And I want to hear from each of you on this as well. When you think about all the people that assemble a team, and we know you can't start out with everybody on your team. Most of us start out as solopreneurs. We start out alone. We start out with just us. So who would you say if you had to choose one person first, right? Who would you choose first to be on your team? Who would you choose first? What is their discipline? What are they doing? What's their role? What's their role? I'll go first, and then I'll pass it over to Carrington. So I would say one of the first people to get on your team, especially in this climate that we are in now, is an attorney. You need to have an attorney on your team. You may need to have them on retainer. I don't care if you have to use the multi-level marketing, prepaid legal or whatever it's called now. You need to have access to legal documentation. I don't know what those other websites are. If you know those other websites for legal shield or whatever it is, put it in the chat. But legal Zoom, but you're going to need some legal counsel. You know, the handshake thing used to work back in the day. Today, if you want to get your bag, you may need it in writing. You hear me? Don't be out here in these streets, quite out here talking about, I thought we had a deal. We did. It was my deal, my money. Good luck. They're going to take your intellectual property and everything. So what I would say is make sure you have a legal person or a legal entity on your side. So Carrington, I'm gonna pass it to you. With all the people that you could have on your team, who would you say it's important to have and why? Okay,
Chris, I completely agree about the legal side of it. You definitely want to protect yourself and your company. But I also think that for me, a strategist, right? And a strategist is, if I'm the visionary, I need someone to help me to follow through with my vision, right? And they can actually help me to kind of strategize and think outside of the box a little bit more and help to put that vision into context, right? And be able to act or implement my vision.
Oh, wow. Let me just a shout out to that one. A strategist, the importance of a strategist.
We had a t-shirt called Like Tim earlier. We're back to like Carrington.
We're consistent every week when it was like Carrington said, right? So that strategist is absolutely key. Somebody, just like this quote that never leaves me, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You need somebody to help you navigate, because if you're in your own thinking, your own thoughts, I think it was Einstein that said, this thinking that I have has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. Think about that for a second. Your thinking is not going to help you get out of that box. You need a strategist, somebody from the outside that can help you navigate and get to where you absolutely want to be. All right, we're going to keep it with ladies first. Fellas, hold up. We're going to Maria to hear who she would have on her team. So let's glide over to Maria.
So where I lack experience is marketing and sales. So yeah, I need somebody to help me. I'm great with strategy and coming up with ideas. I need someone to help promote it. So promoters.
Hey, that is awesome. We all need those promoters. We need to give a shout out to all the marketers that are out there. Being able, it's one thing to have an idea, but getting the idea in front of the people who need it most, right? So that we can serve them is absolutely a critical thing to have, right? So the strategist, the marketers, the attorney. Let's go ahead over to Harry. Harry, who would you say is important?
A person like me that keeps that smile on people's face, that keeps things together. sometimes you're in stressful environments when you are a team, and that person that can throw out that joke that can just lighten up the mood at that particular time, so people don't either throw equipment out the window or throw each other out the window. So yeah, I think you need a person like me.
Are we already at the point, ladies and gentlemen, where we're throwing people out the window? We don't have good conflict management. We need a content developer so we can have conflict management so we're not throwing individuals out the window. Hopefully we're not there yet. But I think
what conflict comes in.
Harry, but I think what you said is so undervalued. People don't recognize the power of a cheerleader on the team, right? And it's not just a role of saying, just doing the pom pom, saying go go go, but somebody to encourage along the way, because there can be some hard, challenging times, right? I like what Brene Brown says. She said we could do hard things and we can do them together. Right. So you have those encouragers that show up. That's like, hey, we got this. We could do this. We're going to do this together as a team. It makes a difference, especially when you want to give up, cave in, and quit. Absolutely. So, Tim White, it is on you. We want to hear from you. Who is absolutely essential to have on a team?
So this is a great question, Chris, because I just recently went through something similar to this, where I had this vision of creating a unique scholarship program. And so I had done the design of the program, put everything in place. And the first person I reached out to was someone who I knew to be a critical thinker. And so that's who I went to initially, was someone who was a critical thinker who could look at that plan, right, and give me honest and open feedback that says, this is great, Tim, or Tim, this stinks, or Tim, this wouldn't work. So I really wanted, before I move forward with it, I really wanted some critical thinking on that proposal, on that design, to make sure that before we move forward with it, whether it's seeking funding, whether it's rolling it out to the marketplace or whatever, before I did that next step, I wanted to make sure that all the bolts were tightened down, all the screws were screwed tightly. In other words, make sure that everything was in the best position possible before I would introduce it.
I love that. I love that. Having just people to bounce it off of. I mean, my God, how important is that? People can see things that we can't see. All right, everybody that's watching live, here's what I want you to do. I want you to type in the chat, who is absolutely essential to have on your team for you and your business and your industry. Who do you need to have on your team? Harry, you wanted to say something?
Can I add one more undervalued person? You need that worker bee. You need that person that's gonna execute what the strategist said. You need that person that will do a lot of things in the background that we don't want to do, or that we can and able to do. But like we talked about earlier, the more things you do, it takes away from something else. So you need that worker bee to handle all the I wouldn't say minor stuff, but other things that we can now concentrate on what we do best.
I love that. And that's undervalued. It's just like when you go to a church or you go to a sporting event, you go to a conference, some people just walk by the greeters. Sometimes don't even say good morning back to them. Though, and their role is huge, right? Their role is huge. That helps set the tone for everything to come. Right. So it's like those roles are so important that helps the vision come to pass. And those people that you never see. Right. It's like a marathon. The only people we talk about is who won the marathon. We don't talk about all the people that ran, the security and all that other kind of stuff. I love what Be Love Inc. says in the chat. Said a prayer warrior. Oh, my God. Yeah, we need some prayer warriors out here in these streets. I mean, every day in every way. So let me give a for that, man. Got to have prayer warriors every way. Yep. And also an administrator. Absolutely. Absolutely. And somebody teach us some doggone software to automate some of these things. So our life could be easy until you get the money to do all of this wonderful stuff. It's great to talk about. I mean, really, and somebody could chime in on this. It's great to talk about all this stuff, but it takes time and money to invest to have all of these team members. And most of us just rely on software to kind of help in these particular areas. Anybody relying on software to help with that aspect of your business or your passion or whatever it is you're doing?
Well, there's certainly a component of it, right? And technology moves so quickly, it enables you to do a number of tasks that, staff personnel would have normally done. But you have to make sure that you're not too overloaded with technology to the point that you lose that personal touch with your customer base.
That's true. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's so important. And I think what you ended off with, Tim, is that personal touch to your marketplace. That's the one thing you can't afford to lose, right?
Right.
That's one thing you can't afford to lose at any point. So let's shift gears. So what is the most important quality in somebody on your team? What do you rank the highest? When you're evaluating people, you're looking at their character, you're looking at everything about them. What is the number one thing that people on your team must have? So when you're thinking, considering like, hey, you got to have this one thing or I can't have you on my team. Let's go ahead and kick it off with Maria this time.
Well, I need to know that there's respect for everyone on the team, but also for the purpose that we're getting involved in, having the similar core values. We don't have to be the same. We don't have to have the same personalities, but most definitely have strong respect for one another.
I love that. Respect is huge.
Oh, thank you for that, Maria.
Yep. Go ahead, Harry. Go ahead and continue.
That respect thing is, so critical because when that conflict comes and people are throwing tantrums, you're just, writing that people off, you're saying a few choice words, get out of here. And instead of respecting that person's position, which can make all the difference between working together and just creating a disaster.
Oh, absolutely. That respect is key. Carrington, you was going to say something on that?
I was just agreeing with Harry, but I was also going to say for me, it would be, I'd say there's two that are very high on the list for me, but positive attitude, number one, right? There is nothing worse than working with someone who has a bad attitude, right? So it's kind of like you go into work, you're in a great mood, you don't necessarily want to be there. Let's just be clear, right? However, but I think that your attitude helps in that area, right? If you go in, you don't necessarily want to be there, but you have a good attitude about what you're doing. I think it helps you to kind of be able to get through your day. It kind of helps you also mentally, right? When you just have a positive attitude for what you're working on or just going through the day. So I think
absolutely. What's your second one?
A willingness to learn. A willingness to learn, right?
I like that. Mm-hmm.
Always be open to learning new things. What'd you say, Harry?
I said, drop that bomb, Chris, because that is so true. Oh, Go ahead. I'm learning a lot while I'm here too. So go.
He's having a moment, so let's let him have his moments. So right before we go to Tim and then back to Harry so he can share his one, everybody that's live in the chat or watching by replay, put what's your top characteristic about a person that they must have to be on your team. What is that one thing somebody must have, what value they must have to be on your team? All right, let's shift gears and go over to Tim.
Well, I was just going to say, Chris, all roads lead back to the values, right? As Maria opened us up with. And I agree, right? So if you have shared values, then you can work through everything else because you have that fundamental agreement throughout the team. But if you are in a situation where you and your business have one value and individuals on your team have a completely different value that is contrary to where you're trying to go as an organization and as a group of people, then that can be problematic. So for me, it's all about shared values.
I like that. That is huge. And then we had Taylor in the chat say vision. Give me a thumbs up if vision is important to you. I mean, especially understanding the vision, right, of where we're going and that we're going to get there no matter what. All right, Harry, what's your number one thing?
One of my number one things is you need a good communicator. Some people don't know how to express what they need, what they want. So you need that person, in my opinion, to be able to express themselves and be clear about what is going on, what they need, what they want, what needs to happen. So that communicator is so very important for me.
Yeah, absolutely. The communicator is key to be able to communicate the vision internally and externally. I would say not my number one thing, but you guys kind of covered it, and Taylor covered it too with the throwing in the vision. But something that's important to me as well is flexibility, right? Because there's gonna be a lot of changes, different things happen, and I personally just believe in that, to always be flexible, adaptable, and versatile. In all things, in every area of life, flexible, adaptable, and versatile, being willing to fit in and maneuver, or just say pivot, right? Pivot minded, pivot consciousness, that sometimes it's going to happen. It's not going to be favorable. You might not understand it, but hey, this is something we got to do at this moment. And it goes back to what Taylor was saying, vision. Let the visionary go ahead and bring forth some of the things that they're seeing, because ultimately that's what we're operating under. So I want to hear now, what is one thing a person cannot have to be on your team? So what is one thing, if they have this one thing, you'd be like, you cannot be on my team with that thing. We'll kick it off with Tim White.
Trust. Trust. Got to be able to trust that person, right? So we're not going to always agree. We know that. But if you have a person on your team that you cannot trust, that is ripe with disaster, because that's an individual who can contaminate your team. They can negatively affect your relationship with your customers. It just really becomes a very toxic situation. So if you have someone on your team that you cannot trust, then that's probably not a good fit, as we would call it in HR.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you think about what's in the middle of that word trust is that word rust, right? Because that's what happens to those relationships. They rust, and we don't want nothing rusty and crusty and dusty in our houses, right? No rust, no crust, no dust, no trust. It's a must. You go, right? Because if I can't trust you, there's no reason. There was a book, I think it was Cracking the Code of Curiosity, where they talked about Navy SEALs. I could be mixing books at this time, but that's a huge thing to them. Is, can I trust you with my life? And if I can't, you can't be on this team. Right. So, what if you had that standard for the people around you? If I can't trust you with well, let me ask the question. Don't nobody answer, because I don't want you to get in trouble with your loved ones or anything like that. Can you trust the people around you with your life? And if you can't trust them with your life, why are they there? Why are they there? Are you living together or dying together? What's going on? What's going on there, right? Something to consider. All right, Harry, we're coming to you next. What is one thing a person cannot have or operate in to be a part of your team?
Everybody already here said it already. Tim said the trust thing.
So what's it deal? What's it
attitude? So let me just add on to what they were saying.
Okay.
You know, Chris, us and our team, we talk about it all the time, that trust factor, to be able to share stuff freely without us, fearing that you're going to take our ideas and run off and go implement them. So, and what Carrington said about the bad attitude, just that person with that great attitude can change the whole dynamic of the team. That like you said, the rust, it starts with one spot and it spreads. Cancer, the same thing. One spot and it spreads. So those things are really key. And I just wanted to elaborate on those two things.
I love that. And I love that you brought up that thing about rust and one spot and it spreads. That's all it takes is one. One person, one bad apple on your team. And I remember years ago hearing that when people don't know how they fit on your team, they start to act like misfits, right? They start tearing down your team because they don't know the vision. They don't care about the vision. It's that spot of rust. So tomorrow, Monday, look at all the rust spots around you, right? Be like, you got to go because you're going to mess up everybody else. You're going to come on the team and just influence everybody else in a negative way. So you got to go. We're not even playing that up in here, up in here. All right, Harry?
Can I say one more thing? And it goes to what you were saying. You know, we were Army. So that buddy system was so critical. Can I trust you with my life? I'm in a combat situation with you. Are you going to see the enemy and run, or are you going to fight to the death with me? So yes, you need to know and have all of those types of people. And it's probably a million more we don't have time to touch on, but you know, everything, what everybody's saying now is so critical.
Right, absolutely. So Maria, we're going to go to Maria, then Carrington. We want to hear what are your team deal breakers. They can't be on your team if they possess this thing. Maria.
Yeah. So before I tell you what I wanted to say, I wanted to piggyback off of what you and Harry both said, was that on the business side, we've used that expression, not so much the dying part, but can you trust this person with your retirement plan? Right. And so when you think of it financially or when you think of career, can you trust this person with your retirement plan? Right. Can you retire based on the actions of this person? So now going to where I was going to mention were destructive people. Right. And these are the people that they lower the bar for successful behavior on the team. And so what happens is that by their misfit behavior, then those who are more successful have to pick up the slack, right? Then they get upset because now they have to work harder. And then they're like, well, wait a minute, if this one can get away with this behavior, well, then maybe I don't have to work as hard, right? It's a snowball effect of disruptive and destructive behavior. So once that starts showing up and once we start seeing that bar lowering, it's time to go.
I do apologize that threw you off where you were right in the middle of dropping that golden nugget. She said, can you trust them with your retirement plan? Right. Can they help you retire? Oh my God. I'm putting that on a sticky note and on my monitor as soon as this conversation is over. I love that.
You're going to have to be a regular here.
I'll be on time. You know.
Oh, inside joke. Everybody watching live in a replay, that was a uppercut to two people on the team that's not women and not the host. That's an uppercut. All right, everybody in the chat that was watching live or replay, what's your deal breaker? We're going to go to Carrington to hear her deal breaker, and we got a couple more questions, and then we're going to close out the show for tonight. So what's your deal breaker? Put it in the chat for somebody to be on your team. All right, Carrington, coming over to you.
Deal breaker for me is loyalty. Loyalty is everything. And that to me kind of goes back to what Tim mentioned about trust, right? Loyalty is everything to me. I'm not sure, how everyone else feels about it, but I'm like, if you're on my team and you work for me, I expect a certain amount of loyalty, right? I do understand I'm open to suggestions and things, but when it comes down to it, don't go and take our idea to another company or something and, our ideas and things that we've talked about, or take this stuff and use it for yourself and start your own business or, things like that. So to me, that's a good thing.
Carrington
Wow.
out here dropping cruise bombs. He said, "Hey, don't be taking our ideas when we talk about going on into your own show.
Hey,
They call it. You gonna call your show Sunday Night is pregame? Wait a minute. What the flower? What the flower? What's the name of your show? Sunday Night is pregame. That's how we live it in these streets.
Digital streets.
The digital streets. That's why you need attorneys, right? But you know what? To your point, Carrington, that's why you got to have people on your team to protect your intellectual property, right? Before you start telling the world, oh, I got this new show called, Step Out Your Comfort Zone. You better go buy the domain before you tell somebody. You better go get the email. You better put the TM next to it. There's a whole bunch of things you better do before you just start throwing your ideas out, because this is a different time we live in. This is a different time. People are looking to do those kind of things. So you need a team. You need a team to help you win in life. Absolutely. Anybody wanted to chime in on anything before we jumped into the next one?
Yeah, I wanted to say, one thing about this whole question. You really need a person with multiple personalities, that worker bee, that communicator, that strategist, that person that will be accountable for their actions, that person that'll keep you accountable for your actions. So you need that utility player, that one that just, is that person that you need. I don't know how to explain it in words, but it's that person that you need. And I know a few people, if we need.
Well,
Well, I would say I'm sorry.
go ahead.
no, go ahead, Maria.
No, I was just going to say that with what Harry was saying, is just somebody that can take the temperature, right? Who makes sure that things are going the way they need to be going. Do we need to level set? Do we need to make adjustments? Right? Take the temperature, make sure that it's the right place, right? And make adjustments when needed. So yeah, oversight, right? Someone who takes oversight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. When you take the temperature, make sure it's in the right place. Absolutely. All right, Tim, save us, Tim. What were you going to say, Tim?
Well, I was just going to the one of the analogies to what Harry just said is, in sports they call that person an athlete. So it's someone who can do multiple things, right? So they are not just pigeonholed into one particular function or role, but to Harry's point, they can support your operation from multiple roles, right? And wherever you need them, they're skilled enough to be plugged into that particular role.
Well, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Yeah, but great.
I almost got my T-shirt. Like
Hey,
Harry said.
what Harry said? You're getting closer, Harry. But right now, Carrington and Maria, we're only getting shirts with what they said so far. Oh, and Tim kicked it off really well.
Tim got a shirt too.
Hey, so let me ask you, in your own personal opinion, what are the dangers of not having a team? What are the dangers of you just saying, for those that are watching right now, say, you know what, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just going to go solo dolo. I'm going to do it on my own. I don't need nobody. I could do it all on my own. What are some of the dangers of doing that? We'll go to Harry and then we'll go to Maria.
That's too easy. That is burnout. Nothing will get done. We talked about that last week about that list, your to-do list. When you got too many things, nothing gets done. So now you're carrying the lawyer's hat, you're carrying the strategist hat, you're carrying the communicator hat, you're carrying the worker bee hat. Eventually you're just going to burn out, and that could be like, that morning, and nothing will get done. So that is one of the definite dangers.
Maria?
Absolutely. So it costs too much, right? We sacrifice way too much. We sacrifice time that we could be spending enjoying other things. We're sacrificing energy. We're sacrificing our lives, really. And at the end, we attempt to do something alone. We look back, and who do we have to enjoy it with, right? And so, what's the point?
Yeah.
I love that. You keep going, because that was just so on point when you look at when you right. So Maria, so one of the things you do, you just got to keep going. It's not the applause, the sound doesn't mean stop. It just means we're putting some respect on what you're talking about, because I think at times we miss that part of it, right? Yeah. When you're doing it all on your own, you're using all of your. It's only 160 hours in a week. So the more time, where are you taking away time from? Right. So if you're saying, yeah, I'm a champion, I'm working 90 hours a week to build my vision, where are you taking it from? Who are you taking it from? Why are your relationships suffering? Well, because you're doing that instead of this. So if you don't take the time to smell the flowers, like Harry said, it could lead to burnout, but you're taking time away from the things that are the reason why you're doing what you're doing. So I was putting respect on what you were saying. I love it. I love it. Carrington and then Tim.
Chris, so can I switch it up just a little bit?
Absolutely.
So what if you look at it like, I've had the experience where or I won't say me personally, but I'll say where I've been in a situation where you've been appointed to lead things or kind of manage things, but that person who is over it can't let go of responsibilities, right? Any of you guys ever experienced that? Where you're over something, you're managing something, or you think you're managing something, but that person who is giving you those responsibilities can't let go of it enough, right? So I kind of think that's another end of your question as well. Have you guys where it's like you give me the opportunity to lead or to manage or allow me to do what you gave me to do, right? And be able to let go so that you can work some of the things that you need to take care of, right? That's why you appoint leaders and managers and, supervisors and all that good stuff.
I know a lot of
people who fail to delegate, right? So a leader who fails to delegate might have given, someone on the team an assignment, but has not delegated all of the authority that comes along with that. And that can create problems on that team, and certainly for that person that has that responsibility, but has not been given the accountability along with that. So, definitely have seen that a lot. Because sometimes leaders feel like, the way they approach things is the only and the best way, right? Mm-hmm. And not recognizing that they're not creating value on that team. I might give you a particular assignment, but if I'm going to continuously try and run it, then why did I give it to you in the first place? So I've seen that destroy morale on teams often. So that definitely is problematic.
So that goes back to the initial. Oh, I'm sorry, Carrington.
Oh, no, I was just saying, absolutely. I was agreeing with Tim.
So I was just going to say then that question, it goes back to the initial conversation about what it takes to be on a team or the qualities, right? We talked about trust. So somebody that gives you an assignment, but then doesn't allow you to do it is lacking trust. And so the questions are, what will it take for you to trust me to do what I need to do effectively? What's that gap there? How do we fill in that gap? Right?
Yeah. The other thing is some people just like to have their hands in everything. They assigned it to you, but they want that little hold on it, just so they can add their 2 cents or make it theirs. No, do it this way. And then whoever they report to, they're taking the credit. Not because you did 98% of the work and I said, here, change that. But, they just, that credit hungry people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So there are 2 things, and somebody put this in the chat for me. There are 2 things that will destroy every team or any team? Two things: blame and credit. Blame and credit will destroy any team. Always blaming somebody for something or always taking credit. That's going to wear out a team over time. Always blaming somebody else instead of taking accountability and responsibility. So for me, that's a deal breaker. Somebody that's always blaming somebody or taking credit for every doggone thing. Really? You did it. Okay, you created the fax machine, right? Okay, you did it, right? You okay, yeah. Right. So, it's somebody, it's always that personality and everything, right? So, hey, let's move to the last question here. And then we're going to wrap up, get everybody's contact information. What is an indication for you that it's time to say goodbye to a team member? So what is an indication? So when you're looking at your team, I want you to look at your own personal life right now. Everybody in the chat, I want you to do this as well. Look at your life right now. What is an indicator to you that, it's time that this relationship right here, I got to say bye to because you're not a good fit for my team anymore? So let's think about that. And I'll go ahead and kick it off with Tim first. We'll kick it off with Tim, and then we'll work our way around to Maria, Harry, and then Carrington.
All right. So great ending question, Chris. The Gallup organization over the last decades has been tracking employee engagement, right? And what we are seeing in that data is that, about 2/3 of the workforce are disengaged. So you have three buckets. You have your engaged employees, you have your disengaged employees, and you have your actively disengaged employees. And so the answer to your question for me is that bucket of actively disengaged employees. These are people who have not only psychologically disconnected from your business, but now it's showing in their behavior, right? So I'm antagonizing Harry, I'm spreading bad news to Carrington, right? I'm giving the mean mug to Maria, right? I am actively disengaged, but I've not submitted my resignation, right? I'm coming in late. I'm coming back from lunch late. I'm leaving work early. My performance and productivity has fallen off. I am actively disengaged from your business, but I'm staying there because I want that check every 2 weeks, but I hate your business. I'm saying bad things on the internet about your business and anybody who will listen, but I'm still there. That's a person that needs to have that relationship severed.
In the Army, we call that retired on duty.
Yeah. Great term, retired on duty. I like that.
Maria?
Whew. How do I top that? Jeez. So I mean, I thought of what I thought was a destructive behavior, which was covered, and also those who bring nothing to the table. They have no impact. They're just taking up space. Also covered. That they're disrespectful. He also said that. I can't trust them with my retirement plan. Let's go with that one.
Let's go with that one.
Yeah. I guess when you show up a little later than others, you have more time to think, right? So that's probably what that was. Shots fired from the host. Pay attention. All right, Harry.
I believe when you're no longer providing any value anymore, and Tim and Maria just touched on different pieces of that, but when you're that person and you just don't care, you're not getting anything done, you're not engaging, it's time to go. It's time for you to pack your laptop or whatever you came with, a pen, and hit the bricks.
Carrington.
I would have to agree with all three, with Tim, Maria, and Harry. Definitely, causing friction amongst the team, bad attitude, coming to work late, all of the things actually that all three of the other panel members mentioned. For me, it's time to go. And so if you won't do it, I'll do it for you.
So you said one of them was showing up late. Was that one of?
Showing up late.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just.
Causing friction amongst the team and always, challenging everything, right? Or complaining.
Carrington, you said another one. You said causing friction among the team. Did you say that? Yeah. Okay. I made a note of that.
I picked up on that, Tim.
But the lateness is but you said lateness is a priority from what I hear. Shots fired, ladies and gentlemen, that's watching. We have some internal issues on our team that we'll be working out after the show. All right, so real quick, let's go around the room. We're coming up on top of the hour. Let's go around the room and give our contact information. But first, I want to thank you for all of you guys that are watching live. Thank you for your interactions in the comments. We greatly appreciate you so much. We're so grateful for you. And if you have a business or you have a Facebook page, Instagram page, go ahead and put it in the chat. Shout yourselves out so other people can follow and look at you, especially the Replay Squad watch. They can go ahead and follow you as well. So go ahead and do that in the chat. So let's go around the room. We'll start with Carrington, Tim, Harry, and then Maria. Go ahead and give your contact information out so people can get in contact with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. You guys, I can be reached on Facebook at Virtual Visions Event Services. On Instagram, it's VRTLVSNS. And then our email is theteam@vves.org. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Tim White.
Absolutely. You can reach me on my website at hrupshot.com or on my jewelry website at Beads by Tim, which we also have an Instagram page for the bracelet business. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Harry.
You can reach me on my digital business card. It's Harry Jameson. That's JAMISON.info. HarryJameson.info. That's the best way to reach me.
All right. Maria.
Well, I will also spell my last name. It is TERC, Turk. It makes it so much easier to find me on just about all social media as Maria Turk. And you can also find me under Your Mantra Song on Facebook and on YouTube.
Subscribe. Connect with those champions. Also, Be Love Inc. Do me a favor, Be Love Inc. Put your information inside of the chat. They are doing a phenomenal fundraiser that I would ask everybody watching live and replay to go support Be Love Inc. Every contribution helps. They have a great cause. They're doing great things. Let me tell you, they are phenomenal. Hold them in high regard. So do me a favor. Reach out to Be Love Inc. on any of their platforms. Just put that in and help support the fundraiser. They're doing great cause. They are committed to doing great things. Give them a round of applause. Be Love Inc. Let's show them some love, everybody. Show them some love. All right, panel, just stay right where you are. Everybody, I want to thank you so much for watching another episode of Sunday is Pregame. We have some exciting things coming up concerning syndication of this show. I love the team that we have. We're doing amazing things and getting a great message out, setting people up for a successful week each and every week. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing and keeping us lifted in prayer as well. That was one of the categories of people that we need to have on our team. So thank you so much for that. I'm Chris Gloss, known as the Possibilitarian, and I am so grateful for you sharing this evening with us. Until we see each other again, have a blessed, prosperous, and productive evening. And we look forward to seeing you again on these Facebook streets.